welcome guys to another video. Today we will be doing a tutorial on gears. I will be explaining everything in full detail. It's gonna be a long one, so get your milk and cookies and let's get going. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I'm back. So, as you can see right now, I'm sitting in a gear set. What is this gear? It is my monster gear. Here are my hunting boosts. If you're new to the game, you should probably make the hunting horns first, as the two level 60 pieces you see up top is your main hand and your helmet are level 60. They're locked behind level 60. So you won't get these two unlocked for a while, but you can use the hunting horns and they're the most cheap. Plus you can have 3 since your slots are accessories. Talking about slots, here are this 12 different slots. Here's your main hand, your offhand, accessories which you can have 3 of, which is really good, as you can have 3 of the same. These are your leggings, this is your hunting plate, your armor, this is the hunting helm, the helmet, and as we said before, the main hand. So we're gonna go hit a monster real quick. I showed my monster hunting stats here. This is my monster gear. We're gonna go hunt a monster. I will also be explaining jewels. Let's just hit this level 1 just
let the storm rage on.
So I think I should one-shot this. We're close. So as you can see, my hero is going in 18 seconds. Let's just speed this up a little bit. So here's the monster. We did 91% damage. We left 8%, which is not bad. You can also improve your monster hunting through the monster hunt research, because the monster hunting gear does take a while. But now for the moment you've all been waiting for, we're gonna get into the actual war gear. We will first be doing the level 60, and then we'll do the pre-level 60. You can see all your statistics through here in your boost tab. If you go tab here in the troops area, we are looking at with leader, as with leader will be these. I won't be switching into war talents or anything. I'll just show from the tab here. But let's get into it. So we're first gonna go into our mix set. What we are trying to do in our mix set is equalize all the statistics. As you can see, cav is 153, range is 174, and infantry is 172. So what we're trying out is to try balancing out the statistics. We're trying to go for a perfect balance, pretty much. But we are down 20% in cavalry. That does not matter, your cavalry is gonna be low. And yeah, what your goal is to have 3 cups. Ignore the blue one. But if you are free to play or semi-pay to play, you will not be having 3 cups that fast in your mix set. So you will need to replace the ambrosial cup with a burning scroll, which is down here. Let me find it. This. You can replace 1 cup for a burning scroll, and then have the blight ring in the other cup. You can also change the storm tassets for the dragon talons, but I'd say the storm tassets are better, they give more stats. But the dragon talons do have more army max HP, in case you want that. You can also have the beast helm instead of the bumblebee helm, as the beast helm is pretty close, but it is for cavalry and infantry. But what I like to use my beast helm for is for infantry blast, as you can see from these jewels. It's for my infantry gear. You can also change the frostwing sword for the skull crusher if you have it on the same level, but because mine is almost gold, I will not be switching out all these jewels for a piece that will soon be not used. We can also switch from the Winter Mitts to the Eternal Codex, but the Eternal Codex is not as good as it doesn't have any army max HP. You see, you're losing 15% for just a bit more attack, which is not the best. Moving on now, this is what the stats are like. We also have 53 army max HP. We get this from the Blight Ring and Mitts. Now to the Imp set. The Imp set is a bit more different. So let's get into it. Your infantry set should look something like this, with probably a Terror Lash shield here and 3 vials instead of 1, unless your cup is mythic. In that case, a mythic cup will beat a fully Astrid Terror Vial. Even a gold cup is good, so you don't need to make 3, but if you have a gold cup, you can put 1 there. As you can see, I only have 1 Terror Vial. I have it at 7 plus Astro, which gives me 48% army attack. And the other 2 I have cups, so that I can focus most of my efforts onto a Terror Shield, which is going to replace your Firewall Chestplate. Look, we are losing 14.5% if we switch to the Firewall Plate. And if we switch from the Beast Helm, that's 24% loss, as the Beast Helm has no infantry attack on its own. Also, pro tip for jewels, I would put the 3 different attack jewels all at purple. Don't try and push them to gold unless you all are purple. If they're all purple, well then I would get spare jewels and start replacing them over time. We would also replace the Winter Mitts with the Eerie Lantern, as it is better for an imp set, but because I don't have it very high, I will just put my Winter Mitts in for the army max HP. This is what the statistics look like. 247% infantry attack, that's a massive boost from the mix set, and 40% army max HP, so I'm not losing out on a lot. Now we're gonna go on to the Cav, which looks pretty much the same as the mix and as the imp set. The only difference is the 2 fear drums. I would have a 3rd in here, but I am trying to focus my efforts on a Gargantuan belt. So you will usually have 3 fear drums. I wouldn't take them to mythic, as you do need blazing embers unless you have a lot of them. I at the moment do not have too many, so even though I could take both of these to mythic and just squeeze out more cav attack, it's just not that much worth it. So instead I put a Blight Ring. Since these are infantry and ranged pieces, they won't be very useful. At least the Blight Ring gives some army max HP. What I would do is replace the Storm Tacet with the Gargantuan belt if you have it at purple or at the same tier as the Storm Tacet. If the Storm Tacet is a higher grade, or your Dragon Talons, I would replace it with the Garg belt. I also forgot to mention, in your mix set you could have the Dragon Talons instead of the Storm Tacets, as the Storm Tacets, a lot of people like to call them the knockoff of Champ Gear because of how hard they are to get. At least for many people. I have been very lucky. So this is what it should look like in reality. This is what, and ignore that it doesn't have 1 drum in here. We also have the Lunar Boomerang. You can replace this with the Eternal Codex or the Winter Mitts if you do not have it. But this is a good way to use your Lunar Crests that you get from the Hoot Claws, because most people don't know what piece to make. So this is a pretty good piece to go inside your gear in your offhand. You can also replace with the Skull Crusher or the Nectar Orb. If you get it to Mythic, you can obviously replace that and it'll be better. So you can have it like this. But I'm gonna stick to what's best for me, and this is what it is for me at the moment. This is what my cav looks like, my stats. 38 army max HP, it was slowly going lower. We also have 208% cav attack, which is significantly lower than the in set was. But yeah, so now we're gonna go into the range gear. The range gear, I have pre-set up the worm coronet for when I do jewel it. Eventually, I'm one away from jeweling it to purple. Once it gets to purple, it will be better than the bumblebee helm. But for now, for me specifically, when I'm showing the stats, I will put the bumblebee helm on, but this is what it should look like. You also have the skull crusher, which is better than the frostwing sword, as it does give range attack. You see, it gives ranged attack. So we put the skull crusher in, and we obviously have that army attack, which is pretty nice. We keep the winter mitts, but you can actually replace them for the codex. The codex is better at this point. The range is the same for me, but this is because this has no range jewels inside. If it did, it would be much better than the mitts. That's pretty much it. We also put the dragon talons instead of the storm tassets for that more army max HP and that range attack. This is what my range stats look like. 166 is really low, but let's put this. Yeah, this is the mix. This is what it should look like. Is the swing sword? Nope. As I showed, this is what it looks like. 176% ranged attack, but 57% army max HP, which is really not bad. Now we're gonna go on to, this is biased based on if you can actually fill your sets, but I basically have this. It's my familiar, T5, and normal training gear. I have my Craggy Greaves, my champion lamp for the training, I have my energy backpack, then I have the different pieces for the familiars. So you can always put the equivalent of this piece that is as a helmet. It's in the same monster section. The T5 gear is pretty hard to make, so you can also replace this with either the familiar gear, pretty much. That's all I have to say. I have set it to familiar growth, not T5 training. Here's our speed set. Here's the speed gear. This is pretty much if you are a rally lead or someone trying to hold a fort. This is the speed gear you are going to need. You can always put the jewels, which I will talk about later in the video. But this is just the gear set. So we're using the electric lance, the champion lamp, the beast helm, the predator's prolins, the champion stride, and this is just because there's no real piece I have for it. There might be a piece, I'm not sure though. So we could, for example, put the mitts, which are better. I just put this just because for the 2.5% training speed, which I realize is not really the best idea. Obviously, we're just gonna switch that now after all this time. Oh yeah, we also have a fake. This is usually for traps, but this is what my fake looks like. I would put 3 accessories that are single type. You could put some level 60 pieces, or it's basically whatever you've got. You can put some, let's say we put this. We're just messing about. We put this. This is what the mix set looks like. We'll put some frostwing boots. We'll put we don't have it on this account, but we could put a Lunar Scimitar, and have the Blight Ring like this, and the Drum and Terror Vial. Of course, it does look kind of weird that I have a Terror Vial at +7, but everything else is so messed up like this. So yeah, this is what my fake mix looks like, and the stats are not that bad either. Then we have the Construction Helper. You can just copy this. It doesn't change at all. You don't change pieces. This is what the Construction mix should look like, and the Research mix. The XP Helper set doesn't really matter, but okay. So now we're gonna go for the pre-level 60 gear. Let me log into the other account. Alright guys, on my mini account where I have the pre-level 60 gear, I also have the new skin on. Let's get into it. Obviously this monster gear looks better. It doesn't have the level 60 pieces, but it does look better. So this is what your pre-level 60 gear can look like. I wouldn't recommend making this. This was the biggest waste in history. I would put the winter parka. But yeah, I was enjoying this account until the protection, the kingdom restriction opened up. So yeah, we have in here the Fear Drum, the Worm Seal, and the Burning Scroll. This is what I was saying to put instead of the cup, the 3 cups, to have 1 Worm Seal and 1 Blight Ring. Then we also have the Dragon Fist, which you can replace with the Lunar Scimitar, but this is better, and you can use it after level 60 instead of the mitts. You can also make this, but it's also kind of a waste for the Frostwing sword. This should be used. We also have the Honeycomb Champs, which can make the Winter Stompers. You can use either one of these. They don't use ultra rares. So yeah, you can use those. And you can use the Worm Rod, but this uses Jade Orbs. Or you can use the Terror Lash. The Terror Lash you should get from the early pay to play event. It's the Athena's Race. It'll be the first event which you also get this, which will give you about 200 or 400, 200 to 400 Terrorthorn seeds, so that you can make gear. This is pretty much your pre-level 60 gear. This is what it looks like. Yeah, this is what it looks like pretty much. You can replace a few pieces if you're free to play. For example, you might not want to put these pieces, and you might have something like this, and probably a Lunar Scimitar or a Fiery Tomahawk in here, and the Winter Parka. This is what a free-to-play set would look more like. Excluding this, we put the Fiery Tomahawk and these 2 pieces and the Lunar Scimitar. So this is what it would look like pretty much. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me put the right pieces. This is what it'll look like. So yeah, not bad. Also, if we put this is what it looks like. And back to this. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the war gear. We will now get on to the jewels. Back to Big Pontus we go. So here we are in the jewel cabinet. We have the Saber jewels and all these jewels. So here's just the basic rundown on which jewels you should put in which set. So we have the Cav jewels, the range jewels, and the Inf jewels, which you will most of the time have in your mix set over here. You see we have This is going to be replaced with a purple range jewel, and this is going to be replaced with a purple cav jewel. I'm still working on it. But as you can see, like, we have the Terror Vial, which is one Terror Jewel and one Trojan Jewel. The Trojan Jewel gives infantry max HP. The Terror Jewel gives infantry attack and infantry defense. And defense is actually half of what HP is. So it's basically 5% army max, infantry max HP, I mean. And this is 12% infantry attack. So not bad. And in the cavalry section, we have the Gargantuan Jewel. Most of the time, you'll have a Saber Fang Jewel over here, which gives cavalry max HP. It's the same as a Trojan Jewel, basically. And you'll have that inside of your drums. Then we have the Grim Jewel, which is the equivalent of the Trojan and the Saber Fang Jewel, but for the range set. Then we also have the Swift Hunter Jewel, which is for the hunting gear, monster hunting. Then we have the more advanced, these are the attack versions of the specific type jewels. So we have here the Worm Jewel. Since you can only have one of each jewel at a time, we have the Worm Jewel, we have one infantry attack jewel, one Worm Jewel, for example, one range attack jewel, one Worm Jewel, and then the Grim Jewel. Since we can have at least 10% more attack with 5% max HP range. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown. Then we do have a few more jewels. Here they are. These are useless most: defense, infantry defense, range defense, trap defense. I would not use them. I wouldn't. I would leave them out to rot. So we have the Terror Jewel, the Worm Jewel, and the Gargantuan Jewel. These are basically the equivalents for each other, like I showed with the Worm Jewel before. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't have much to show, much more. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a lot from it. See you all next time. Goodbye.